In this video, I'm going to explain how we can find the arc length and the perimeter of sector circles. Now, what a sector circle actually is just part of a circle. And we can consider the appearance of them in a couple of different ways. So one sort of appearance that I like to think of might be sort of a pizza slice, where we have part of a circle in here of a bigger circle, but it's less than half of that circle. The other style that we could consider might be like the Pac-Man sort of style. So where we've got more than half of our circle and it forms like a little Pac-Man that we've got here. Now, in order to find the arc length or perimeter of these types of shapes, there's two pieces of information we need. The first piece of information that we need is the radius length of the circle itself, if it was a whole circle. So the radius length of this sector circle in here, assuming that that point there was the dead middle of the circle, will be this side length just in here. And of the Pac-Man style, the radius will be from the center point of the circle to the outside, so this side length just here. Now, when we're referring to the arc length of a sector circle, the actual length that we're referring to is just the arced part of the sector circle. So for example, starting here and running along this length in here. Of the Pac-Man style, that arc starts in here and moves all the way around and doesn't finish until it's there. So when we're finding the arc length, this is the part that we're finding. Now, in order to find the arc length, we actually use something that derives from the circumference of a circle formula. If we wanted to calculate the total circumference if this was a full circle, we would normally multiply 2 pi multiplied by the radius. But we don't want to find the whole circumference of the circle. We only want to find part of the circle. So there's another piece of information that we actually need here to be able to tell this formula what part of the circle that we have and what we're looking for. And that is the degrees section just in here. And we use a Greek letter known as theta to represent the number of degrees in that angle there. So in the Pac-Man style, we're looking at this much of the circle, so that angle just in here. And if we know the radius as well as the angle of the circle that we have here, we can find the arc length by multiplying this 2 pi r with theta over 360. Now, the 360 comes from how many degrees there are in the full circle. So we're saying that we've got this many degrees of the circle out of the 360 degrees there are in a full circle. But let's consider the following sector circle to see how this works. So if we had the sector circle where the radius was 3 meters and the degrees in here was 60 degrees, we could use this formula to find the arc length in here of this sector circle. So in order to find the arc length of this sector circle, it would be equal to the number of the degrees that we have, so that's 60 degrees, divided by 360 degrees in a circle, multiplied by 2 pi times the radius that we've got here of 3 meters. Now, when you put that into your calculator, you'll find that it's approximately equal to 3.14 meters. But this only finds the length of the arc. It doesn't actually find the total perimeter around our sector circle. And there are times that you actually might want to know the total perimeter around this sort of shape. So to find the total perimeter, we would need to take the arc length of 3.14, which gets me around that part of the circle, but we would need to add on the 2 lengths of the radius that remain. So we would need to add on 6 meters here. So therefore, the total perimeter around this arc length will be equal to approximately, because we rounded in here, 9.14 meters. So, in summary, in order to find the arc length of a sector circle, we use the 2 pi r part that would normally calculate the total circumference of a circle, but we multiply that with the part of the circle that we have by taking the degrees of the part that we've got and dividing by 360, because that's how many degrees there are in a circle. But there are times that you might also want to find the perimeter, and the arc length only calculates the length of that section of the circle in here. So in order to find the total perimeter, you would need to add on the side lengths of the radius, and because there's 2 of them, you would need to add on 2 lots of the radius to find that total perimeter.